You can actually see. Oh, goodness. I can't wait till I get through all this crafting stuff this winter, and my curio looks like a curio again. Oh, my God. So it's 3/22, and y'all know if y'all ever see this hoodie come out, it's probably because I don't feel well, or it's really cold. Both in this instance. I had blood work done Thursday, because I have to have enzyme levels and a whole bunch of stuff checked every month from where I have this neuromuscular disorder that affects my organs. And I tried to slap on some makeup so I didn't look like death, but I had to go back Friday and go through everything because they did it overnight because of the holiday schedule. It was just crap, so they just overnighted it. So yay for that, Bill. Anyway, went back. Hi, Priscilla. Hey, are you doing anything special for New Year's Eve on your channel? If so, I can do a little promo about it now. Let me know. So I went back Friday thinking it was just a blood check, blood draw review. And I noticed the day that I had not felt good and was really woozy. And I was struggling with my muscles. Obviously, this cold snap, I didn't think anything was out of the norm. Cold snap, I'm going to struggle with my muscles. Okay. I didn't know if you were going to do like a little, like a watch nut, pop in every so often, check up or something. I didn't know. I was going to ask. But I went back thinking, it's just the winter weather clipping through that's had me all messed up. I'd put on a lot of fluid last week, and one day between doctor visits, I'd lost 3 pounds of fluid, and I knew I wasn't feeling very good. The next day I was feeling worse, and so I went in, and she was like, are you okay? Are there any problems? You don't look like you feel well. And I said, no, I don't. I said, I've been woozy today, and I said, I don't know if it's from my muscles constricting and me just being fluid filled, or I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I thought it was good. I did too, because I've sat through enough watching that services in my life. So, but I'm sick, so I'll be home. But she said, let me check. And so we mostly paid attention to my enzyme levels, but they had done kind of like a whole panel sweep at the end of the year for insurance, get everything we can out of 1 year. And she said, well, your CBC was actually a little high. Let's check again. So she repokes my finger and checks it there in the office instead of sending, because we did like 7 vials Thursday. And then she starts checking me, and she's like, your lungs are clear. She's like, you do have a lot of fluid on you. She's like, you lost a huge amount of fluid overnight, it seems. And I said, my back hurts and my kidneys hurt, but I think it's just from where I'm shedding so much fluid from this weather system. But then she looked in my ears. I have a double ear infection. No wonder I was woozy. So New Year's Eve double ear infection. Yay. And it's just because the fluid came on so quick with this weather system that it didn't know where to go, and it went to my ears and stayed there. And it's shedding from everywhere else, but I'm having a hard time shedding it from my ears. But I did get the temu package, and I don't want to let them pile up because I've got a few coming in. Seems like now, since the holidays are kind of getting over, the mail system is trying to get everything where it goes. And this has got some actually repurchases in it that of stuff that I liked. And y'all know I'm fixing to be done unless I need like a baby item or there's something like a super on sale. I caught a couple of their big clearance items that were actually good prices. Y'all be careful. Do your research. Pilfer around. If you like something, know what it's actually going for. Know when they try to tell you to spin that wheel, you're getting 70% off that you're not. You're paying what you pay on a normal, regular day. I love Temu. I love their products, but they can be a little janky sometimes. So just always do your research. But I found a dress that is normally like $20, and I got it for like $5. And I'm going to use it as a layering dress through the winter. But this, I wanted to get this one out of the way because it actually has some clothes items that I want to choose from tomorrow if I feel like not fried death, And to be quite honest, I don't know what all is in here. I just know it has some clothing items in it. I pay attention, see? Let's see what's in here. Let us see. Oh, look, the token one piece of towelette or whatever it is. Okay, now this is just a plain white shirt, and it's to go with my leggings and some of my cardigans. Y'all know I'm a cardigan fiend. So this is just a plain boat neck white shirt. There's no seam in the front. but there is a seam in the back. I don't mind that because I'm going to be wearing cardigans with it, and I understand how fat I am. And I know that when you come to cutting patterns, you can't lace the fabric all the time to do a cut for a big girl, and you just have to put a seam in, and I'm okay with that. But it's going to be covered by my cardigan, so I don't mind. But the front does not have a seam, and it's long sleeved, and the sleeves are fairly long, but they also taper down, so they should stay in place. So this is a pretty good buy. I think this was literally like $5, like $5.97. And I looked at one similar at Walmart. It was like $12.97, and I was like, nope, not buying it at Walmart. Oh, and I have worn all 3 of the Tankini night dresses, and they are actually really, really comfortable. Okay, this is, oh my gosh, this is so soft. This is like cashmere soft. Okay, what this is that really funky necked sweater. It's got the high neck that drops off the shoulders, and this is actually what I'm thinking I may want to wear tomorrow. It's got like a 3/4 sleeve, and it's a drop cold shoulder, but it's got a high neck, which I think gives it a really funky look. I looked at these when they were like $11 or $12 or $13, and I got it's got a dip. I had it backwards. It's got a dip front, which really gives it a funky look when you have the high neck black and the dip front and the cold shoulder. So if I feel good enough to put this on tomorrow, I will model it for you and let you see. It is so soft. This quality is epic. Now, I had been watching this since it had been like $11 or $12 or $13, and I think I got it for right around $10. And I was trying to snag everything that I had kind of been watching and knew I was getting a deal on, because I refuse to buy something if I can get a deal on it. And I like wait, and if they sell out, it just wasn't meant for me. Now, this is something that I got for the baby boy. Now, I've been, I know I've been pumping out the baby girl stuff, but I found this one. I love the color of it. It's olive green, super soft. It's got the easy legs and the button crotch for diamonds, and it says Daddy and Me, and it's got a fist bump, best buddies for life. And I thought this was cute because I know my son-in-law, and he is such a sweetie pie that I know he's going to be such a good daddy. And it's got this little sleeping hat with it with a little bobber. Oh, it's so cute. It's got the little sleeping hat. And it comes with a little mini mitt so that they don't scratch their face. And I thought this would be great for the baby boys. I've been really buying a lot of baby girl stuff. And since we found out we had a little Missy in there, because I'd been really neutral, but I bought her several little outfits and I thought, okay, it's time to get a little bust or something. I thought this was cute. Me and Dad, best friends for life. I really think my son-in-law is going to be an epic father. He is such a sweetheart, and he's so caring, and his life experiences have led him to be a much more happy-go-lucky, appreciate the day, and take the joy out of life instead of worrying about the bad crap. And I just love that about him. So, but it's got the little sleeping hat with the little tail. It's so cute. And then the little mitts. And I've bought tons of socks, don't worry. And I've got the baby bags that were selling for like $7, $8. I got one on sale for $3, and I'm going to pack that baby bag, plus you'll have a few boxes. But I'm going to send the big baby bag, just not really as a carry-along, but as like a house, like diaper changing necessities unit that she can take to any room where the twins are instead of having to take them always back to their room for necessities. Grandma's thinking, okay? But I thought this was so cute. And now since we do, we have twins on the way, I know they're going to be a little early, so they're going to be a little smaller. Probably they're super healthy right now, so I'm not having any worries, and she's still doing great. But I am buying the 0 to 3 or 3 to 6 and a lot of stuff so that she's got a gap of clothes there, because I know they're probably going to be smaller for a while. But I thought this was cute. This will be a cute little outfit on a cold spring night or cool summer night to let them sleep in. It's not super thick, but it's good coverage. And the little hat, so flippy cute. Look at that little tail on that hat. I'm sorry, but if you were to puff that up and take pictures, it would be adorable. And I'm a photo hog, if y'all have not ever noticed. And I think that's going to be so cute when it's on his head. I just think that's going to be so cute. Anyway, my little grandma heart just pounded, and I said I gotta have that. I think I got this like $3 off the normal price, and I knew that because I had been looking at this, and I was like, I'm watching that because I just thought it was cute. It kind of melted my heart, so I was like, I'm getting that. Now I do have some repurchases in here and some newbies, so check your corners in your Temu bags because Customs is horrible with tape. And I want you to know that now that bag that was missing in Texas and then showed up and said I had to refund it, Texas. It then showed that somebody walked in and picked it up at the post office of Texas. Now says it's been delivered to me. Whoever got it, enjoy it. That's all I got to say. So it can't be delivered multiple times. There's only one bag. So I don't know what's going on, but hey, we've got 100% success rate at my address, except for that package at the Tennessee address. So I'm not so mad. I'm just kind of irritated that the Postal Service is so janky right now because, you know, something, we depend on y'all. Okay, I do like these bigger bags. They're awesome for craft stuff, so I'm going to clean my living room. Okie dokie, let's see. This is a repurchase because I bought one and then I've lost so much weight that it's now I have to wear it on a bigger finger, but I wanted to have one to wear as a wedding band. And when I lose a couple more pounds, and y'all, I got a super small size and I'm almost there. Look at that. And this is a thicker ring. And so I'm amazed at how far it already goes in my finger. So I've got one right now, but I've had to move it to this finger. So I'm prepping in the next 10 to 15 pounds. I'm going to move to this ring. But this is a titanium ring with the sparkles on the outside. And it wears really well. It's big. And it's definitely a statement piece, but it wears really well. And I've loved the big one. I mean, it really is blingy and people give you lots of compliments on it. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and get me a smaller one so that when I get to those lower pounds, I already have one. And I think I got this one, I think it was like 89 or 98 cents. And for the quality of the other one and how the other one is worn, epic. It's not shown any tarnish. And y'all know I put jewelry on and forget to take it off. This sucker is still shining. They said it never loses its shine. It's still shining. And it has been with me through showers, baths, the dishes, doctor visits, everything. Sweat from where I've been sick the last couple nights. They put Rosefin in me and I sweat like I don't know what last night. So this was a magnetic choker. Not really a choker, but a necklace that would be like a choker for me. And I'm sorry, but I'm not fumbling for seals today. And I just like the style of it. And I thought, well, I may have to kind of engineer it to where I can wear it. It's got a barrel clasp on it, which I really like. But it's magnetic. And it does have copper on it. And y'all, copper, I think, is really great for your body. I wear a lot of copper jewelry. I think I feel better when I wear it. You do have to be careful when you wear copper because, especially if you're like me and you've got a sweaty personality when you get up and get going. But I love anything that has the magnetic copper stuff in it. So, and I am so blind today from where my health is so bad I cannot see to swivel that back in there. When I get sick, first thing to go is my ears and my eyes, obviously. And so I think that's why with this cold front and all the fluid, it just automatically went to my ears. So I had a horrible headache yesterday. But this is beautiful. This is, I mean, it's very, and it's heavy too. It's not light, it's heavy. So I know it's got good quality to it. It's made very well. And I do like a barrel clasp. It's just not on days like today. Hey, Ashley, how you doing? I hope y'all had a great Christmas. I'm checking in. I've been kind of MIA because I've not been feeling the greatest because I have a double ear infection. I didn't find out till yesterday. All the fluid went straight to my ears when this weather system came through. So David's been taking care of me. He's off through Monday. So he's in the fur shed right now. And he's been trapping and taking care of me and trying to do housework. And y'all, he's so busy. Okay, and I went ahead and I like this. It was a rose gold and a stainless steel mix. And like I said, I'm going down in ring sizes so quick. I'm thinking about the next 15 to 20 pounds. I thought this was cute. It is it's just a cheap set. I don't even think it's stainless. Let me see. No, I think this is one of those little 1 cent items on one of those days. But it was really cute, and I thought, heck, I'll go ahead and get it. It was a penny, and it came with the order. It's got a separate band. It's got a rose gold accent with a separate banded front. And I'll just coat that puppy in some clear fingernail polish and wear it till I do kill it. But I'm almost to a 7. That's how close a 7 is to fit me. I started out with a 9.5 on that finger. I'm wearing an 8 in most things if they get to be wide bands or double bands. And this band has got like it's got like an open weave pattern. Look at my janky fingernails, y'all, where I had nail color strips on. It's got an open band and then got the rose gold sides. with the faux stone, and then it's got a separate little decor band that goes with it. And I'll just coat them really well. But I'm so close; my fingers are falling apart. If I wasn't swollen, it'd probably almost go on. But you know, I'm prepping because I'm losing weight so quick. And the thing that I'm losing is I had to buy ring sizers, and then in some stuff, I'm just going ahead and buying smaller sizes because I can't. And y'all, I've got a story. I've got story time for you later about how the audacity of some people. I'm going to have an end of the year. What the crap? Okay, I'll check my emails. I'll have to check on my phone because I've had to do some email clearing. That's how many emails I get. So I'll check. I had a good Christmas. I didn't do much because I was starting to not feel well and I didn't want to run out in the changing weather. It still got me, the fluid. I stayed home and the weather system still made me puff up like I don't know what. This is a corner shelf that you can use in the bathroom, a kitchen, a utility room. I've been watching this for a while. It comes with the brackets. They say they hold a lot. Now, what I've noticed about these is sometimes I put them on the wall, and then if they want to not stick so well, I just use a little bit of hot glue to hold them, and then I put me some E6000 or something other else back there to hold them, and then let them dry. And then when I clip stuff in them, they don't move. Like they're there until I want them gone. And then I've got a divot in my bathroom wall. I'm going to stick that in the corner. I'm going to put some of my beauty products so that they're closer at hand because I'm getting tired of doing lateral side steps, stick stuff and lateral side step. I just, no, my knees don't like that. So I just got a simple corner stuff. I think this was $6. But it is really heavy made, heavy gauge stuff. It's really good quality. And I looked at one at Walmart, and they wanted $12.88 for one. And I thought, Walmart's getting a little cray-cray. I don't know if I care for Walmart. And I'll have to look back at the pictures. Put them down here or up here. I would think you'd put them up here for stability, but I don't know. So we'll look at the picture again. But I do love these little corner shelves. And I got it super cheap. So I got a white bottleneck, just white shirt to go into my cardigans, a burgundy drop shoulder with a high neck cold shoulder sweater that feels like, I mean, it feels like cashmere. It's lovely. And then I got the baby outfit, and I repurchased the titanium ring and got the other ring for like a penny when I ordered. I do have other stuff. Like I had 2 things out for delivery today, but my mailman's been super late, like after 6 p.m. So I had to check my porch after hours. But look at this. It says, Daddy made best buds for life. It's got a fist bump. And it comes with a little sleeping hat and the mitts so he won't scratch himself. So I've been buying the little girl some much stuff. I bought the little boy some stuff. But let me tell you about my holiday. Okay? Y'all know that I'm nice, and I want to be good to everybody until I'm done. And when I hit done, I hit it at like Mach 90. And there's not a lot of warning. Well, I give you warning, then if you don't heed the warning, that's your problem. As far as I'm concerned, that's your problem because I warned you. But I really have I'm really laid back until I'm not. So I've had someone in the area that's lives close be super sick and had to have emergency surgery. Not someone I'm particularly friends with, but if anyone's having health issues, I'm compassionate. Hey, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna do what I can for you, and I'm gonna pray for you. And I don't want you to come to any harm. So when I had someone that lived in the area, had to have emergency surgery and had to be there, they had to be gone for a few days. They asked if I would kind of keep an eye on the property and just, if I saw anything suspicious, just to let them know or call cops. And I was like, okay, sure, that's fine, not a problem. That turned into a call every day from them in the hospital for an update, which, I'm not upset. Call, let me know how you're doing because it was a very scary health time and I was concerned. It's not like we're BFFs. We've really barely tolerated each other, but, maybe the health scare had kind of made them have a change of heart. Okay. So I was going with it. I was trying to be nice and I was being kind. That turns into then a couple, 3 calls each day from the hospital. And I'm trying to drop the hints. Listen, I can't always run to answer this house phone. It's very difficult for me to walk some days. I'm really swollen right now. I'm not feeling so good. I'm trying to rest. When I'm trying to rest and the phone rings, It ruins what little rest I'm getting. Maybe we could limit it to just one call, around this time every day that you were doing. That one was fine. Completely did not pick that up. Continues to call. I get to the point where I just stop answering. Somehow, they get this number that I'm filming on. Now marked. Okay, now marked. So since one of them had it, then it ended up that another person in the family got it, so that they could also send me updates. So now I'm getting updates from 2 people, which is resulting in about 8 to 10 contacts or texts a day. No. Even when I'm sick, I like send out one bolo like, yo, I'm sick. I'll come back when I'm better. And like, I come back when I'm better. So I kept pawning off on, well, she doesn't have many friends. She's lonely. She's scared. So I'm trying to like rationalize this and be nice. This is how much fluid I have on me today, people. And I am 3 pounds lighter than I was Thursday, but I still have a lot of fluid on me. It'll leave eventually. Anyway, so I've been very sick myself, not knowing how sick I was. I did watch the home, and I was adamant about monitoring, and I was doing my job. So they were supposed to go to rehabilitation because it was such a bad injury after the surgery and the hospital stay, and they said no. So when they came home, I started getting phone calls. And now I can see where they live. It's not like I'm blind or stupid. And they're calling and telling me they need money, that their electric's been turned off. Now I can see that the floodlight's on. Now I'm not stupid. I pay for my floodlight. And if my electric's off, my floodlight's off. If my floodlight's on, my electric's on. And I said, I don't think your electric's off, your floodlight's on. Well, we don't know what to do. Probably trip your breaker and then go to bed. That would be what I would do in your position. Oh, no, we don't have any power at all. No, you got juice going in your house. Your floodlight's on. Well, I guess I'm going to have to call my sister in the morning. I'll just be real cold tonight. Yeah, you're going to be pretty cold tonight, but the next 2 nights you can't be without heat. You're going to have to get it resolved tomorrow if something's wrong. But you got juice going in your house. Your floodlight's on. So I kind of thought that maybe they were throwing me a line. And so when I kind of dodged her asking for money and told her that, just go get in the bed, get warm tonight. It's not going to be that cold. Cuddle up, stay warm. And first thing in the morning, if you can't resolve it and your sister can't resolve it, call the electric company. There may be something external that's on their end. Because I had a feeling something was not right. Okay. So then the other person in the family that got my phone number starts messaging me and calling me. Can I come by your house and get some money? No. That isn't a no. That's a straight up no. No. You walk on my porch and ask me for money. I'm not responsible for how I respond because it's 9:30 at night. I know you got juice. I'm sorry you're in a position, but we're all adults here, and sometimes life sucks. Real crap happens, and you have to take care of it. Well, she's just, it's been cut off because she's behind. She's not cut off. She's got juice to her floodlight. She's not cut off. I pay for my floodlight. Can't get that through their head. They had called numerous other people and asked for money as well. I found this out later. And I said, listen, I've got to go to town in the morning to do blood work. I said, I will text both of you and see if it's resolved. I said, in the instance, something weird happened and they've cut her off because she's owed a little bit. If it's, 10 to 20 bucks, I'll put some money in the pot to help. But that's all I can do. I can't pay an electric bill. Nobody pays my bill, so I'm not out to pay anybody else's bills, especially people that have never worked in their whole life. I'm not going to let her freeze to death, but I ain't going to foot the bill, So I gave the person that then was hounding me 4 resource options for aid, because I used to do all that with my parolees. So I know the people that run the pages of the resource options I gave, they were not contacted. But I have other people in the community that were contacted and bothered as much as I was bothered. So the next morning, I kept at my end of the deal. And before I got out of town, before I got out with my blood work appointment, I messaged them like, I'm almost done. Did y'all get the problem resolved? Or is it a financial issue? Let me know before I leave town. The people that had hounded me for 12 hours the day before could not be bothered to respond. So I thought, well, I guess they resolved everything and they don't need my help anymore. So I'm just going to go home. Like I wasn't going to help much. But if she had been 15, 20 bucks and needed, over or something weird had happened, hey, I'm not a mean person. I would have helped. But they wouldn't respond. Yeah, we have supplementals. So we have wood stoves. So we keep ours kind of down in the winter. But it's just me and David, and I use all low wattage LED bulbs, and I've minimized our electric to where it's super inexpensive. I'm like the electricity queen. And we have a small home, so we have a pretty small electric bill. We keep everything kind of within range, and if we see something going up, we look for reasons why, and we try to take them down. But I wasn't going to be mean. Like if she was 15, 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks, I'm not going to let anybody, freeze to death. But they didn't respond. Didn't respond. For a day and a half, did not respond. And then when I'm getting ready to go back to the doctor the next day in the evening, when I'm getting ready to respond and, oh, Gypsy, it's okay. You just be careful. When I'm getting ready to go back to the doctor the next evening, it's been like 30, 34 hours. My phone's just ringing off the hook, and I'm in bed trying to rest until I absolutely have to get up because David had to drive me because I was so woozy yesterday. I had so much fluid in my ears. And it just keeps ringing. It just keeps ringing. It just keeps ringing. It just keeps ringing. And I'm sitting there going, it must be important, or must be, David's parents, or it must be David's Lyme doctor calling to reschedule his appointment. The Lyme doctor got so sick, he actually quit his practice. So now he's going to be sourced out to another Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever specialist in another town. So that's going to be a whole nother issue to combat next year. But it rang a good probably 7 times in a row. And I'm laying in bed going, should I try? Because I'm so dizzy. Should I try to fumble up there and get that? And I decide, okay, I better. Must be important. So I about fall a couple times because I'm so woozy headed. I'm not safe to be up. And David was coming in about every hour to check on me in case I need to go to the bathroom or something. It was not time for him to come in. But I couldn't sit down there and lay down there and just listen to that phone ring incessantly because I couldn't rest. So I got up, fumbled did a fat girl rollover 2 or 3 times trying to get into the kitchen to get to the phone. Answer the phone. And this woman proceeds to ask me if my husband's home. I said, yes. He got home about 5 minutes ago. I'm sure you saw him. He's now working in the fur shed. What? Because I'm a little irritated now. And she goes, well, and she starts on this big, story. And I said, whoa, stop. I said, are you okay? Is this an emergency? Is it a health emergency? Is there something emergent that has to be taken care of right now? Because I'm sick. I'm fixing to go back to the doctor. I don't feel well, and I need to be laying down. Well, I was just wondering if he could build the cats a house because it's going to be cold tonight. Now, my husband routinely works 50 to 80 hours a week, plus tries to fur trap completely for free for people that have farms that are overrun. He enjoys fur trapping. He enjoys tanning. It's kind of his release from factory work that keeps him motivated and going. He has about a week off all year long from work to sprinkle throughout the year, and the bulk of those days comes around the end of the year with holidays, and he'll take an extra day just to extend the weekend or extend the holiday a day or two to finish up his vacation. So he has just a couple of days a year that he gets to enjoy. These people, I've never known them work. I don't think they've ever worked in their life. I know one of them has never worked in their life. To have the audacity to not return my questions about a very serious issue that you screamed about 2 days before, and then to leave me hanging, and then to call and request my husband do something for you that is completely unnecessary. A cat will find a hole to sleep in, it'll find a barn, it'll find somewhere to go. They're almost half feral when they run around here anyway. You can't touch them, they're wild. call my husband on the one of the very few days of the year that he has off to build you a cat house for your cats that are cold, I was going to snap. I was going to snap, and then I was going to have to repent. And I thought, just shut up, Elizabeth. It's going to be bad if you keep going. It's going to be bad. And I said, I'm 100% sure he does not have the time to build you a cat house. And then I pushed in on the phone, and I slammed the phone down. I think I broke the phone because I had to charge the other one. I think I broke it, but I've had these phones for like 10 years, so I'm not completely worried. We have two. I just put the other one on to charge. It infuriated me because they see us, and my husband's always gone. He's always working. He's always busy. He never rests. We're just trying to scrap enough through life to pay bills and get going, get through. I was the breadwinner when I got sick with this neuromuscular disorder. It kind of augmented our life, and we had to change our lifestyle. Now, I understand that someone that has never had a work routine and doesn't understand what a day off is, it's a very special thing. I understand that they may not comprehend that. But still, to ask a perfect stranger, basically, to take one of his precious days off when they know he's still busy, to do something so asinine, I wanted to slap somebody. I was mad. I was physically mad. And somehow my phone number has been given to multiple family members, so I'm now blocking numbers. And I've been quite the little shit. Sorry, but I have to say that because I have been. Because in the process of the other family member contacting me about helping with the electric, I noticed that they had 3 different cell phones. And I said, listen, there's only one reason why one person has 3 different cell phones and is asking somebody for money. So now I'm less inclined to give you any, even if it was a money problem, less inclined to give you any. The fact that y'all don't pay for food, don't pay for phones. You know, you have more free cash coming through your home than most people that work. It's called financial management. Sit down and put your money where it needs to go and allot your resources out accordingly. So I just started blocking numbers as they come through. Not only that, but a family member less than 6 months ago had a windfall of a lottery of almost $100,000. I found that out. And so the last time she asked for anything, I said, well, I don't know anybody that's won a lottery lately. Do you? You might want to ask them. You know, I'm trying to be nice. Listen, I hit done real quick when she asked to put a stupid burden on my husband that was not necessary. Had she said, I can't get down, or my front porch step is broken, and because of my surgery, I can't get down to go to the doctor, I'd have been there and found a board and patched it. That would have been a priority. That would have been something they probably wouldn't have been able to do themselves. I understand asking for help for that. A cat house? When he has literally like a week off a year and he has to sprinkle it through the whole year? So I'm just starting to block numbers. And she hasn't called back since I got Kurt and slammed the phone down. And if I had said one more sentence, it was going to turn into a sermon, and it was not going to be a nice one. And so I just said, I'm 100% sure he does not have time to build you a cat house. And I slammed the phone down. And so I'm down to one phone. But there are different levels. This is and I laid down and I thought, was that too mean? No. I have tried to have a amicable relationship with everyone that lives close to me, and I succeed with that 99.9% of the time. And I've even tried to be super nice to them since she had all the health issues, because, you know, that's hard to go through. Hi, Ray Clay. Give them a cardboard box. I was like, wrap a styrofoam freezer, a $2 styrofoam freezer from the Dollar General store in a blanket and cut a hole in it. They'll find their way in. You know, I mean, heck, they normally end up in my barn anyway, so what does she care? But I just thought that was absurd. And I thought, you know, in the U.S., you know, we've got young people that think they don't need to work, that the government should pay everything, but they don't understand that if they don't work and they don't pay taxes, the government doesn't have anything to pay out. So where does the money come from? And so we got a lot of people that have not completed the circle of thought there. And then we've got people that think, oh, this person's being nice to me. Let me leech onto them and suck them dry. And that kind of really irritated me. And I thought, but this is the way that this is what America's turned into. If we have a problem and we can guilt trip or emotionally trip anybody, suck them dry. Take advantage and suck them dry. And I thought, no, I'm not ending this year or starting the new year in that way. And, it might have been harsh. But I know she's been sick, but having no thought about the stressful, the stressful schedule that David keeps with work, how much he's going, trying to make ends meet. She knows that we've had multiple vehicle issues in the last month with David's little tracker to keep it rolling. Not a care. Just someone besides them needed to take care of the problem. And that is like that's the whole societal issue we've got right now in America. Someone else needs to take care of the problem. No one is personally accountable. And y'all know I've been preaching this for years. No one's personally accountable. Nobody looks at themselves and says, what can I do to improve the scenario for myself? They look at other people and say, what can I get from them that will improve my life? I've never looked at somebody and thought, what can I, get from you? How can I manipulate you to do better? I've had YouTube send me 3 emails about you need to monetize your channel. No, YouTube, I talk about things that don't need to be monetized. I talk about a lot of really deep things that are mentally and emotionally, you got to wade down in the water a little bit. I don't think that should be monetized. I don't think it should be monetized. And then yesterday, the end of the year, now it seems like all the other nations are trying to cyber hit us, and it just seems like a planktonic bloom. If y'all know what that is, when the plankton comes in and then all the predators come in, it seems like a time of the year where this is like a planktonic bloom in America, and here come all the predators. So we're in obviously an emotionally an emotionally easy time to manipulate society, and a physically hard time during the year so that you can manipulate, you can scare society. And it seems like everybody's taking advantage of this to kind of put pressures and try to scare everybody. They're just about 10 years older than me, but they've never worked, ever. I'm talking about having 10 or 11 kids in the state, raising all but one. Okay? And had she been $10 or $15 away from, and they cut her off, I would pay the $10 or $15 to get her electricity back on. I'm not going to let her freeze. They didn't respond. Oh, bye, Gypsy. They didn't respond. And so I thought, well, they've got everything taken care of. Well, come to find out, after they tried to milk everybody and nobody responded, they flipped the breaker and went to bed. I knew their juice was on. Your floodlight's on. I'm not stupid. I know I'm a woman, but I've done a lot of different jobs, and I'm not retarded. It's just kind of like, and when they kept asking me, what do I do? Flip your breaker and go to bed. And I really felt like I was just trying to get rolled. And I was like, not going to have it. Yeah, I'll yell at Gypsy later. She's been checking on me as I've been resting today. But I thought, man, is everybody experiencing this? And the more I get online, okay, in the lower suburb of Chicago, before Christmas, like Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve, a mother takes her 3 teenage children, a daughter that was like either right at adulthood or 1 year away from it, who already had like a 10-month-old and another, or a 3-year-old and another one on the way, or a 10-month-old and another one on the way. That might have been it. You can search this story, read it. When I tell you the names, you can search and read it. This blew my mind. She takes her sons, DeMarcus and Darcus, and her daughter, and I forget the daughter's name, bless her heart. She passed away, and this is sad. This is a sad story. But it shows you the state of America, and this is very important to talk about. Now, DeMarcus and Darcus, I question the names, they're like between 14 and 17 years old. They're roughly in that age group. The younger one was mad because mom, he thought, was buying everyone else more presents. There have been years I didn't get a present. There was a year that my mother wrapped Pantene shampoo to give to me, and I still felt blessed. I got the expensive shampoo. I don't put too much stock in things like that. I just enjoy the time and the emotions of the year. He thought that Darkus and his sister were getting more presents. So they get home and he's being really belligerent. And the sister, who's carrying a child seat with her baby in it, who is also pregnant, says, could you curb your behavior? You're going to ruin Christmas for my kids, basically. So she's, going to be giving birth any day. Yeah. He took out a Glock 40, 14-year-old, took out a Glock 40 that was illegally sought on the streets. Okay. No gun law would have saved this or changed this. Shot his sister in the chest. She was DOA over Christmas presents. And then Darkus comes to the door and says, DeMarcus, you blanking shot our sister, and pulls his Glock 40 out and shoots his brother in the guts. And then pitches his gun in a creek and runs. Okay. Number one, why are kids that live in Chicago apparently all armed? Okay. This is a societal norm we need to change. They have the toughest gun laws in the area. Have you ever noticed how it's the worst gun area? It's because criminals don't follow gun laws, okay? And if mother is normalizing her children carrying guns, hey, mama, you get what you pay for. So if you're paying for your boys to pack, you're paying for trouble. Now, I saw the video footage. They live in a way nicer home than me. Way nicer home than me. But it was like a multi-generational home. So the young lady died, the baby died with her, left another child childless or motherless and homeless because they're not going to release it to grandma's house. Grandma's house is foobarred. The one boy that was gut shot that started all the crap, he's in stable condition now after surgery and is going to be fine, but he's awaiting murder charges on his sister, while the other one was apprehended. And as soon as they got him in custody, he cried, I'm going to hurt myself. If you're going to hurt yourself, you would hurt yourself before you hurt someone else. But they've got him in a soft cell hold, basically, baby in him. But he's going to get attempted murder charges. And mom's acting surprised about this? Mom? Hello? You armed your children. You didn't teach them anything about how to treat people, about how to respect others, how personal boundaries. You didn't teach them about weapons and that they are a privilege and a sacred responsibility. You just thugged them out and thought nothing was going to happen. And I'm sitting here going, and before I was in kindergarten, I was taught about firearms. By the time I was in second grade, I was a really good shot with some of the lower caliber, like 410 and stuff, 22. But I was taught that it was a hunting implement used to feed our family and to protect our home. And it was the most dangerous and sacred thing. And we were fortunate to be able to have these items to protect our home and to feed our family, but they were not toys. Thank God I had responsible parents. And here's the thing I've got to say. People want to say the government needs to change this. No, you need to move out of these cities that have these stupid rules that affect you in the worst way possible, because it's turning everyone into criminals. When you have rules and you hinder the good people from caring for themselves or protecting themselves, then it just tells the criminals, I can get away with anything because I don't follow rules anyway. Listen, I'm a retired parole officer. I know all about this. They will go to the spots where they can take advantage of the most high population of weak people because they know I don't follow the rules, but everybody else here does, so I'm pretty much safe to do whatever I want to. Sadly, though, their own family was so degenerate that they turned on themselves. And we've got activists still trying to blame society. Okay, let me tell you about the society that they're not blaming. The social society within that family. That's what was foobarred. Now, I will say that Chicago's screwed up in so many ways. I'd never lived there. I don't want to go through there. I have no desire to see it. No, it would be like stepping in a cesspool for me. I don't want to be there. Yeah, you got to teach them early. I mean, you have to really imprint them that is not a toy. That is something to be respected, and cherished, because it is a tool, and it's a dangerous tool. But by third grade, me and my brother were going out squirrel hunting to bring home mess of squirrel for dinner. I was in third grade. He was in fifth grade. Could you imagine seeing that in any other state? No, maybe Texas. And we wave at the neighbors when we go back and go, like, we pass two houses and we go back way back in the woods, and where there's oil wells and stuff where nobody lived. And we'd squirrel hunt. Now, he'd give me the 22, so I'd have to sit and stalk hunt while he'd run, with the 12 gauge. He'd walk a circle and pop him out of the trees. And then what he ushered toward me, I would pick out of the tops. And we had a system. When we bring home a mess squirrel, we'd have squirrel dumplings. I can't imagine any youth doing that today. There was another killing in San Antonio, Texas. There was a couple in Florida too, which surprised me, of the violence that I saw in Florida. There was a couple in Florida that really shocked me. But there was one in San Antonio, Texas that really has all the markers of gang activity, but nobody wants to say the words. And there was a woman that was, the only reason they knew she was missing was that she didn't show up for her inducement at the hospital. And she was like 4 years younger than the boy she was having the baby with. And he looked, I'm sorry, he's passed away now, not supposed to speak ill of dead, but he did not look like somebody I would want to walk past on the street. We'll just say that. And some of her pictures they shared from social media gave me the indication that she was very much like some of the girlfriends of the gang members that I supervised, that would come in with their long nails and be like, "You put my boyfriend in jail. You let him out now." And I'd be like, "What is this about? What is this going to do to me?" And I just got that vibe. But they were both basically executed, shot behind the right ear. No gun residue on them. They threw them in the vehicle that they were, it looks like they were probably trying to learn about the child safety seat and put it in before they went to her inducement appointment. It took them a couple of days to find them, and they looked like they had been there for probably 3 days. So they were probably killed the day before, and they were probably trying to learn how to put their child safety seat in the car, because she had it in her lap when they had crammed her in the front seat, and he had been thrown in the back. And it took them 4 days to recover them. And the mothers are crying, and one mother said, "I think it's because of him and his behavior." Okay, well, Mom, that's good. Did you have that talk with your daughter? Did you say the things you don't want to say to your kids, but sometimes you need to? I've had to go through a lot of that the last couple of years. You love them, and you don't want to push them away, but sometimes you just got to straight up tell them the goddamn truth. Thankfully, the one mother is like, I really feel that he was wrapped up in something bad, and the other mother's just kind of being quiet and just trying to sink back. Somebody had done that to one of my children, I'd be out looking. I'd be out trying to find something. I'd be out trying to do anything I could to help the police put it together. And I wouldn't hold back anything. If he was a piece of crap, he'd been a piece of crap lately, probably been in something he didn't need to be into. Check this, this, and this, She's not helping. So I feel bad for that, because there again, mother and child. Baby never got to breathe air. And they want to be like, we need more gun laws. Not one shooting that I read about over the Christmas holiday happened with a legally owned and purchased firearm. They were all $50 back alley purchases with VIN numbers, but the numbers filed off, and they were just instruments of danger. They were just tools for murder. You cannot stop the purchase of these guns. You cannot stop. I mean, heck, most of the guns, most of the legal big rifles in America were purchased by our own government, provided to other countries, and then funneled back in. We did it to ourselves. We shot ourselves in the foot. Really. But they're going to try to press. They're going to try to use everybody's emotions to press more for more gun laws. But as we see, the city that has the most gun laws, they have the most deaths because everyone's a sitting duck and they know it. So everyone turns to illegal weapons, and they've got this very rabid mentality that everyone is a threat. When you live in an area where you can take care of yourself, you don't view everyone as a threat. You have the capability to take care of yourself should something occur, but you have not the desire to. So what is driving this desire to? Well, probably where the family has fallen apart, what families are still together, the homes are very unstable. We have, there was a higher rate of juvenile crimes over Christmas than there were domestic or adult crimes over Christmas. Okay, hang on. I got to catch up because I just saw something. Leba Cat says something. Oh my gosh, you're killing. Oh, you're kidding me. We have got a dilemma where, okay, last generation's people never learned to be parents. And so sadly, this generation's children never learn to be kids. And so we've got two generations that both think they're big cock on the walk. Let's just call it like it is, people. And everyone wants to pick apart everything except for the true problem. Okay? If you sweep your house of the devil and you don't sweep all of it out, he's going to come back 7 times stronger. And when you play tiddlywinks with dangerous people, you're never going to win. Never going to finish the game. So I don't know if people are going to look at this logically, but they're going to look at it emotionally. And that ticks me off because emotions will make you take the wrong. You're going to feel bad and you're just going to want no one to get hurt. You're just going to take all the guns away. But what you're doing is basically turning everyone into the white fluffy bunny that can't hide. The white turkey in the flock that blows everybody else's camouflage. You take away decent people's ability to protect themselves, so everyone becomes a sitting duck. And then the people that have no moral compass, that are full of this evil, will take over this world in 5 seconds. And no upright good person wants to ever harm another human, but they do desire the capacity to protect their family. And here's a statistic. Now you can always research me, always double check me when I tell you stuff like this. The most law-abiding group of people in the United States are the people who have concealed carry permits. Now, a lot of states are going back to constitutional carry. I still think you need to be careful because there's a lot of in the courtroom. You can flex a little bit on that. But the most law-abiding group of people in the United States are the concealed carry people. That is the group, that population that has the lowest crime rate. Why? Because they are legally registering and saying, I have the capacity to care for myself, but I don't want to, but I want you to know that I have the capacity to do this and I'm doing it legally. They have a moral conviction to follow the law and to really tell society around them, you can look me up. I have a concealed carry permit. Don't pick on me. It's listed. You can find everybody that has a concealed carry permit. So why is that the population with this? Because it's the population that, number one, respects the weapon, respects the law, and respects society, and respects themselves. That's why that's the best population. I know we've got that's like I want to put it on a t-shirt. We got a generation that never became parents, so now we have a second generation that never knew how to be kids. And when you take away those learning curves, you screw up the whole mentality of both generations. Leva Cats, I have a one that says no trespassing. We're getting tired of hiding the bodies, and then I have one that says heck with the dog, beware the wife. And we're in posteds, so people know. But everybody thinks I decorate. Oh, she decorates her house with solar lights. She puts the lights all across her fence, and she keeps those all the time on her top row. She's just so into solar lights. I do love solar lights, but I run them across the top line of my fence. Why? Because it hits people about midway. There's no way a fully grown juvenile or adult can hunch and run and me not see the break in the lights on the fence. So if you come in to try to do me harm before you run away, I'm going to have an idea of who you are and have a sight on you. You better run quick. And so everybody wonders why I have those lights. That's why I have those lights. Put people in prison for a decade. I have precautionary measures, lots of them. So, and then they were trying to say, well, somebody must have come and fooled with our electric box. Nope. The only people down was the FedEx, UPS. The UPS was a wrong road because he came to the house, the mailman, and me and my husband. Well, how do you know that? I'm not giving up my resources. But I have pictures. And they were like, oh. I think that's probably what made them stop asking for stuff. But yeah, your sight line is the most critical thing after a crime. Yeah. Somebody accosts me or tries to kill me and they think they're going to get away with it. Y'all have seen me. Y'all have seen me and my bullseye components, right? Have fun. But I don't know. We have a really bad society. And I'm here to tell you, if there's no reason why in an inner city, in a city component, in a landscape of concrete where you cannot legally dispatch a weapon safely, that any juvenile of that age or of those ages should have had a handgun, especially illegally, not registered, and with no training on them at any time. It's illegal. You have to be 21 to pack a handgun. So for a lot of these people, I feel bad, but then I'm like, you stirred the soup. So you served it to yourself, and I that sounds kind of crass, but until we stop with, let's hold everybody else responsible and always make ourselves the victim, we're not going to change this country. It's not going to change. Until we start asking the hard questions. Why do I have 17 new towers in me and my surrounding counties, but my cell reception is still crap? Why are we paying to build these towers that when I pass at night, 4 of them don't even have the top flight lights on blinking? That's illegal according to the FAA. I have questions. Why is a certain little short man that talks like this still walking around after we have government paperwork that proves patient 0 was in that lab and that he personally funded it and went against the president's directive, even though I don't like that president, and did it illegally? He did the same thing he did back with the AIDS virus, only did it on a wider scale. Okay, he has been the doctor of death. He's worse than Kevorkian, okay? At least Kevorkian picked out people that wanted to exit the planet. Hey, let's just talk plain. There are no repercussions for some, and then some have all the repercussions. My little area has been shocked by a couple of homicides this last year that should never have occurred in this small area. But we're starting to now see the decay of our area from the outside influences. We're normally 20 or 25 years behind. It's picking up due to the internet and all that stuff. It's picking up. I don't even know who my sheriff is because I asked, but nobody would tell me, because I'm pretty sure that something's going on in my county, that the sheriff has stepped down and put someone else up, because I keep being told that this is our acting sheriff. But when I ask, nobody will directly answer me. Although sometimes I still see him in capacity acting out in the area, in the community. But then he disappears for months at a time. I don't even know who my sheriff is. Problem. Had a neighbor discharging a weapon at 2:30 in the morning for months in a row between 11:30 p.m. and 2:30 a.m. Ricocheted off my house once, pissed me off. Started doing a paper trail, calling dispatch, leaving a paper trail. We got a problem, got a problem, got a problem, got a problem, got a problem. We'll drive by. All you going to do is drive by? Okay, I know this is a convicted felon firing this weapon. I've seen him. I know that he's high when he's doing it because he's yelling slanderous things to the neighborhood. And there are 4 houses that are way closer than me that should be concerned. You've got to have other calls. We've had 17 calls in the last, you've had 17 calls in the last couple of months, other than me. And we've knocked on the door twice. But you know how hard it is to get in a home? No, sir, I do not. And he said, well, it's a judicial problem. This is me talking to dispatch. No, it sounds like a ball sack problem. I walked into murderers' homes and checked their homes with just a bulletproof vest and a cell phone. I was an officer before we carried. And you can't knock on a door where somebody's saying we've heard gunshots. Oh, well, they did knock twice. Twice out of 20-something calls. They know. Hey, listen, if all you're going to do is drive by, I'm thinking about taking up criminal behavior. I'll wave when you drive by. I'll be nice about it, too. Oh, now, Elizabeth, you're getting sassy. I'm getting sassy because we all know in this community that man is a criminal, should not have possession of that weapon, is inebriated or high, and is aggressive and violent. What happens when he walks off of his postage card of a yard into someone else's yard? I'm going to see him as a direct threat because I know the behavior is repetitious. I have multiple calls to you. I want you to fix this before it becomes an issue, but you will not act. Well, we couldn't get into the home. I said, you had 17 plus calls. They've heard gunfire, reported gunfire. 2 people living there. Could have been a domestic issue. You go, you knock on the door, nobody answers. You should have called a judge and said, we've got reports of gunfire. We've come here. There's no answer. We don't know if it's a homicide, suicide. Could be something wrong. We need in the home, sign something. You go into people's homes for way less. So what's the problem? I said, because you're putting everyone in this neighborhood at risk, because when they walk off that property, we're going to have to take action. And we're going to feel really bad if we have to. But you're putting us all in that position. And I said, if it happens to me, I said, somebody's going to have to come pick them up. Because they're a direct threat. And then I'm going to sue everybody for not taking care of this and putting me in this position because I don't want to be here. That's why I'm calling you. You're supposed to take care of this. Serve and protect. Look up what those words mean. And after I said the sue word, it all stopped miraculously. Just bing, stopped. And then I found out someone's in custody. So they knew there was a convicted criminal shooting a gun. They just didn't care to go pick him up. I'm telling you, sometimes the greasy wheel, you have to squeak for a while before you get that grease. But is that sorriness? That's sorriness. That's sorriness on our police departments. That's sorriness. I told him, I said, it's a ball sack problem. You ain't got to go and ask, knock on the door and see what's going on. Yes, proper procedures are non-existent anymore, and they let too many officers get by with pansy little reasons why they're not doing their jobs. I mean, that's a job where when you take your oath and you get sworn in by your U.S. Marshal, you know exactly what you're looking at because that oath is serious. You know exactly what you're walking into. So why don't you just put your hand down and walk out before you finish your oath? I took my job very seriously. I was there to improve these people's lives, to be their buffer between prison and to make them productive members of society if it freaking killed me. I was supposed to make a difference in my community. And I'm very proud of the turnover, the good high number of positive turnovers that I had. I'm not seeing that anymore. I'm seeing officers wait for 4 months to do a warrant when it should have been done 4 months ago, and then somebody suffers because this person did not have a warrant done and was left out in the community, and other people get harmed. It's laziness. It's sorriness, and we got to start holding people accountable. And it's not about being angry at them or wanting to minimize them as people. It's about saying you have a very important job. You better think it's important. Oh, Priscilla. See, we had someone that was. We've had a couple of homicides here that's been, and we're very rural, so you try to hide somebody, we wait for the buzzers to fly, and so it's taken them a couple 3 days to find them here too, and it's something the family should not have to go through. It's something that no one should ever have to be part of. It's just there is no reason. Unless you're fixing to lose your life, there is no reason to ever take another life. Unless they're threatening yours, there's no reason. And it just seems like it's become a game. And part of me wants to say, well, our government has really pushed out and really propagated the games with controls that are very similar to drone controls and other weapons of war that have controllers and IR and they fly and it's like a game. We've really toned the acumen of our youngsters to be emotionally indifferent toward pushing a button or pulling a trigger and what happens afterwards. And And then you find out that the drones are flown with a very similar. Well, they were just looking for. They're watching people to play on Twitch that have the high kill ratios, the fast gamer plays, and the fast button. They're listen. You don't think they're training little mini soldiers, looking for these people that are coordinated? Yeah, are you serious? I bet you they know every time I've passed gas this year. Let's just be honest. I mean, seriously, wouldn't surprise me if they smelled a few of them. I've been sitting here and had that stupid little echo duct go off, and I routinely tell it how sorry it is every day, so they know I don't like having that in my home. It's purely because of my health issue that I may get down and I may have to call emergency people through that. I hate that thing because I know exactly what it is. But there is no way to get out of the monitoring loop, I think, that we're in now. I think there's no way. I don't think there's any way. I mean, everything, even if you try to keep a low-grade cell phone, listen, it's not the cell phones, it's your body. You're tagged. And it's not that they've, in some places they may have implanted something, I don't know. But we are electrical beings, and we're surrounded by electrical signals and frequencies. And they feed through us just like they feed through everything else that conduct electricity. They have probably DNA imprinted us through frequency and other mechanisms. And I'm not talking on my butt because they do this in wartime to see how many people live in places and control behavior. So it's just like they probably know, there's probably way more ways for them to monitor us than we even believe. Yeah, well, I can think about something and then it'll pop up in my ads. David's coming in for water for a shop. I can like not even verbalize it because I'm home alone and I'm not talking to anybody. And just lay there, like when I have that hour and a half, I have to put my legs up. He's getting water for a shop. I just think about something. Now he's dancing. I'm not even lying. But then I open my phone and boom, there's an ad for something. And I'm like, okay. And so hopefully nobody's going to ping me on this video because it's stuff that everybody talks about anyway. But if I were y'all, I would research the body area network. He's trying to make me giggle. He doesn't.
I ain't doing it.
He's trying to throw me off. Look up the body area network, the Internet of Bodies, the IEEE. And I would go to Odyssey platform and I would look up the Synergy channel, PSINERGY, and I would watch a few of her videos and have an open mind and then research. Don't ever just swallow what somebody tells you. Go and research. Priscilla says howdy.
Hi.
And go and research. Don't ever swallow anything anybody tells you, even me. Question everything and go out there and look. Oh, Ray Clay. Me and Sabrina are like, we're linked. We are such good friends. And I tell my husband and all my other friends, like, she's weird, but she's weird in all the best ways. And I've told her that. I love her. I sent her a Christmas package. I don't know if she's got it yet. We can go a couple weeks without talking, and then boom, for a couple weeks, we're back and forth. And then we'll take a break and then back and forth. And she is just so smart that sometimes it takes me, she can talk for 5 minutes and it'll take me 3 days to research it. And then I have to go back and go, crap. And then I go down another, it's not a rabbit hole, it's an educational hole. And there is a college textbook on emergent technology that was written like a couple decades, well, probably more than that, 3 decades ago, that tells us about all this that they've created and how they're using it to log into our bodies. Because we're just very complex computers. Okay. But if they learn how to do this other stuff, they've learned how to also, tap into us. And it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about she won't quit talking. It makes me wonder about all the, now into the Temu haul. I do like my Temu. I get a craft cheap and I find some really good deals. But there are other women that do it. And I look at the stuff they buy and I'm like, why did you need that? Like, I might buy a little pretty that might last a couple months, but I might spend $1 on it. But boy, there's some women that, and then they go, and I donate it. Well, then why did you show it to everybody? Why didn't you just take the bag and give it to him before you just had to show everybody and get the views first? It cracks me up. I have like 4 more orders to come in. I ordered a rug that won't slip because my physical therapist is on my butt about that. So I ordered a rug that will not slip to go in front of my sofa because I hate to sit there and have my feet on the cold wood floor in the winter. It bothers me. Even if I have house shoes on, I feel it because of my disorder. So I bought me a rug that won't slip and bought some other stuff when they had that sale and some craft stuff because I used a lot to make April's Dreamcatcher, which is gorgeous, I might add. So we were supposed to get snow, and it was very cold and I was sick. So I'm glad I didn't promise to mail it Thursday or Friday, but I'm going to mail it Tuesday because we were supposed to get snow. But then I came down with a double ear infection. So I can hear out of this ear, but this one's kind of wonky. The Sherlock Holmes of trappers. That property that he's been trapping the last few days, it's a 3,000 plus acre farm, and he's only on one lower side. It has access to an old railway and an old railroad bridge, and he's been surveying the upper side of it with the owner of the property because he's only on one side doing water sets mostly and then outskirting the coyotes, but he's fixing to move internal and go after the song dogs really hard and heavy. He's going to pull his traps Monday night, give it about a week and a half off, let him rest, and let him think he's going bye-bye, and then he's going to go back in and put a lot of foothold and snares and sneak attack. And he's going to switch to the inner core instead of the water sets. And so he goes back and forth, and as soon as he relieves pressure and they get absent-minded about we need to be careful, then he pops back and puts more traps out. So he'll start producing a lot more off of that land toward the end of the winter. And I'd say next year, because he'll have a whole year to scout and get the resources, because this is kind of was dumped in his lap. There's bear and everything on that property. I mean, so, he might get a chance at bear season next year because the landowner really likes him. But he's only hit just a very small portion of that land. There's so much more. So he's really excited about that. But the coyotes are taking over down there. I mean, it's the coyotes and fox and raccoon. There's not a bird on that property. And it's because of the predators are so outnumbering the birds. And so he's told the guy, we just got to get it. It's going to be probably a couple years trapping to get that leveled back out, to get a good handle on what all's there, their routes, how they change and shift with the weather patterns. And I think there's some monster otter down there from the sign. I think there's some huge otter down there. So I'm anxious to see what comes off there the next, not really this season. I think he might get some good catches this year before it ends. But next year is going to be a really good year because he'll have a whole year of scouting. So that's good. And it's way down yonder paw patch. That acreage is on the backside of acreage we used to hog hunt. And it is thick. And so it's kind of thick and hazardous at some places. So you have to be careful. Going to be a lot of rattlesnakes and copperheads you're going to have to watch out for next year. Snake leggings are going to be a necessity. But I like to share David's trap, and he has a passion for that. And I used to love to do it too. I still like to get out with him when I can, but I don't get to have a lot of fun anymore because I can't walk the trap line. I just kind of have to ride, and I get to see the ones we can drive to. And that little tracker goes lots of places. But he doesn't like snake baits. He wants the full chaps that go clean up to the hip. Because we get them timber rattlers that are like way big, like big as your arm, and they can strike real high. We don't. I used to always, when we ginseng, I'd always wear the snake boots and give him the chaps because he was more apt to get busy looking for ginseng and not scan. And I constantly am scanning. And so I'd be the scanner and I'd find the ginseng. And so while he was digging one plot, I'd find the 3 or 4 more that was on the same bench line and mark them. And then I'd go back and help him dig. But I'd also scan for snakes or any sign of snakes or anything we needed to watch out for. Poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac. Oh my God. I don't get to do any of that anymore. And I've lost enough weight now to where it's easier for me to get around. And if it's like there's a flat basin, it looks like a Cades Cove. If you've ever been to Smoky Mountains in Cades Cove, it looks like a Cades Cove that's back there where all of this goes down. And then there's a bottom land on that swollen, bloated creek. It looks like a Cades Cove field. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Well, y'all have seen some of it in the footage. It should be about twice that big, but it's flooded. So we're hoping that we get the beavers and the otters curbed so that the land stops flooding. I can walk where it's flat. If I pay close attention, I'm not going to I'm not as apt to wobble and fall now as I was, 50 pounds ago. So I'm getting out, but he makes me stay. He's like, if he has to walk about a good half mile or so to do his loop for the last of the water sets. And so I'm just kind of at the tracker hanging out. And I will get out, but he's like, you have to stay like 25 foot from the vehicle at all times in case something shows up. And I'm like, I'm paying attention. Oh gosh, I used to live down in Smith County, and there was a guy blasting for his basement. There was a commercial airline pilot that owned the farm next to us, and there were rattlesnakes crawling across my lower driveway, which is about an eighth of a mile or a quarter mile long. It was a long driveway. And you could see them. They were so big, you could see them crawling from the explosions, the dynamite explosions. And he had to call me 3 days before and said, we're going to blast. Snakes are going to go everywhere. Make sure you seal up any holes to your home, because they're so bad down there. And I didn't believe how, I'd seen them and I didn't believe how bad they were. But I was on my porch after the first 2 kabooms, and he was being very nice and saying, okay, we got 30 minutes for the next one. And I was going out and I was looking, and that made them all come out of their holes and go the other way toward the cattle field. We were like, pull the cows to the far pasture, or they're all going to get snake bit. And, but they were huge. They were so big, you could see them from up on the hill where my house was all the way down to the bottom of the driveway to the flat spot where they were all, and they were like getting sinkholes and have like dens and sinkholes. I don't like nope ropes. You be bush hogging and ka-chunk. It was a rattlesnake. They would gum your tractor down. You get somebody to bale and hay, and they get a snake tied up on the outside of a bale of hay, and that bale would drop, and you'd see that snake stuck in that grass string. And oh no, to this day, no. I it was pretty down there, but no. We have some rattlesnakes, but they stay pretty deep up. Here you have to look for copperheads, but copperheads are what's bad here. But if you take precautions, you can kind of keep them off your property and stay, if you monitor really well, you can stay pretty clear of them. And we have a resident black snake named Ernie. David whopped him in the head the other day because he wouldn't leave the lower side of the fur shed, and he was getting kind of hissy. And so David gave him a headache, and he decided he would leave. We've not seen him since. I don't think David whopped him that hard, but I think he learned I'm not supposed to sleep there. He normally stays at the barn, but the last few years he's grown really big, so he thinks he owns the place. But I keep him around because black snakes they fight and kill any other snakes. And so Ernie is kind of welcome, but he has to keep his manners about him, or he'll get a headache. But we've not had any problems with snakes on our property, but we take a lot of precautions. And we have a backside that goes down to a spring, so we take a lot of precautions. I kind of miss having an outdoor dog because outdoor dog will alert you to him. But since Moses died, I've just not been in a health place or a heart place where I wanted to get another outside dog. Although Dad's trying to send Ruby home with me like 50,000 times. He's tried to send Ruby and Dasher home with me. And I'm like, I can't take either because if they get out of my fence, somebody will pop them. And I would, a dog that big, I would expect somebody to pop them too, not knowing if they were, and Ruby looks ill, but she's the sweetest thing. But if I get a dog, it'll be after Oscar leaves this world. And I'll probably get me one of them little tiny dingo-ish red healers. That's what I had growing up all the time and what I trained. I'm going to go back to one of them little wily little red healers that'll sneak up and herd somebody. They'll nip them. I love them little dogs. But I'm going to get me a dog that will not run behind me. Oscar runs behind me. When I turn on my washing machine, my new washing machine, he's terrified of it. He goes around my bed and tries to climb. And I have a high bed. There's no way he can get it to, but he tries to climb because he's terrified of the sound my washing machine makes. And I'm like, wow, dog, you are a pansy. So, but I always had healers growing up. So I think I'm going to go back to healers. But since Moses passed away, we've just not had the heart to buy another. He was such a good dog. Moses, I called him Mod Podge. And he would get all excited. And I'd look at him and he'd just be sitting there so quiet and so regal. And I'd be going, Moses supposes his toes are roses. And I'd sing that whole song and he would just dance and bark. And yep, he loved that. We miss him something horrible around here. He would go kayak fishing with Lane, wade fishing with Lane. He'd go on huge hiking trips with Lane. Of course, Lane's got Chatac now, but there'll never be another Moses. He was such a good friend for my kids. He was such a good dog. I mean, and he was just like a healer, always right with his kid. And if something dangerous came up, he got in front of his kid and looked at the dangerous thing. Like, I wouldn't do it. So I miss my healers. Yeah, I want another. I had a little red healer named Runt. I called her the Runtinator. And she literally saved my butt a few times because I'd taken on some horses trained that were a little evil. And she'd get between me and that horse. It'd kind of charge me. She'd get between me and that horse and look at that horse like, I will make you run for 50 years. And that horse would back up like, oh, crap. And I'd be like, thank you, Runt. And she'd back up and look at me like, okay, you got it. And I'd be like, I'm good. And she'd back up and get out of my way. If I ever had a horse charge me or if I had one on a long line and it ducked in to kick me, here she come. And she would like fly past my face going at them. And I'd be like, oh, dang, I got a good dog. I had 3 awesome healers in my life. I had Heather. I called her Heifer D. And because she was a heifer. And I had Runt Neuter. And I had Smokey. And Smokey was a bigger one. He was a cattle mixed dog, and he was a bigger one. And he literally would jump on bulls. And I was like, it's okay. They're still 30 foot away. He would be like, no, they ain't getting in closer. He'd take out after him. I had some good dogs. But I also did dangerous work when I was a teenager. So, oh, yeah, healers are, and they're loyal, and they're a little bit mouthy. They're a little bit nippy sometimes when you raise them. You have to really kind of, and they can be very loud, sometimes very yippy like a husky, but I would taught all of mine, and it started with Heather. She would bark, 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 and I didn't let her know I didn't like that yippiness. And she would do this little thing when she wanted to play a ball, she'd pop her jaws. And so every time she'd do that, I'd say, pop your jaws, and she'd do it again. And she learned that, oh, that means pop your jaws. And so when she started barking, I go, shh, pop your jaws. Instead of barking, and I took her with me. I worked at 2 stables and took her with me, and they were amazed with her. And everybody tried to buy her, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. And when I decided to move farther off, and I knew I couldn't take her with me, she was getting too old, the little girls that I'd gone to church with my whole life, their dog had died. And they had always come over, and they'd always loved my little healer, Heather. And I was like, would y'all like to have her and keep her? Because they had a farm. I said, would y'all like to have her and keep her? I said, she'll keep you safe as you're walking the fields and stuff. I said, but you have to keep her till she dies. I said, or if you want to give her back, you have to give her back. And they kept her till she died. And she was raised with those girls, kept those girls safe. They had a big farm. But Ronnie sadly passed away in her line of duty, taking care of me. So I had her out. We were working horses, and I had gone in for just a split second. I told her to stay, and she normally always stayed. She must have been chasing something off the property. And somebody clipped her and just broke her neck. And I picked that dog up. I had my Big Ben coat on. There was just a trickle of blood coming out of her nose. She wasn't hurt at all. And I ran, as soon as I heard, I ran down there and scooped her up and went back to the barn. And I sat in the barn with that dog in my lap, willing her to breathe for 2 hours. And just bawling my butt off. And my dad built her a little casket. And so if anybody ever digs up the area behind my barn in the last house I lived in, they're probably going to think I was a Jeffrey Dahmer person. But I miss that little dog. To this day, I miss that little dog. So I think I'm going to go back to a red healer when Oscar passes. But just for protection, just because I want something that will stand in front of me instead of Oscar running behind me. He's so nice. He's just too nice. There's not a mean bone in his body. And I'm like, can we just get one? He's not got a mean bone in his body. And Moses was really great, but if you advance toward a child in a hateful way, he would step in between you and look at you like, excuse me? And I love that dingo head curve they do. Like, do you want to die today? I love that dingo in them. It just gives them that little edge where they kind of creep you out sometimes. I love that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But Oscar's fixing to be 11. But he's super healthy, so I think he'll be around for a while. But I'm starting to think about the next dog, and I really want something that could be indoor and outdoor and help me outside as much as inside. Oscar's a dust bunny with legs. He was Haley's rescue. Don't blame it on me. But Haley couldn't take him with her, so he stuck with me. So I love the little fart, but he's useless as tits on a boar hog. So, but I think David might have taken some video today. I don't know. He did a lot of land recon yesterday with the owner, and then he went back and checked traps this morning. Had a lot of movement last night with the beaver and otter on the upper side of the river that's bloated, but not much else moved. course, it was a weird weather last couple of days here. It was really cold. It was snow one minute, mist, and then ice, and then snow, and then mist. It was like, make your mind up. So the water animals don't care. They love to move when it's cold, but everything else kind of, they either move after a couple of cold nights, or they go crazy. And I just think this being the really first cold snap, they really were like, yeah, we'll just stay in the den, you know. So I don't think, he's still got stuff out, and he's leaving stuff out till Tuesday morning. He's pulling everything Tuesday morning, and he's going to give it about a week to 10 days rest. And then he's going to go back and go deeper in and go after the song dogs and stuff. But now he's still got the other one. So when he's resting that one, he'll probably go back to the other farm, and where he had to pull the coyote out of the covert. He said, I didn't know what was on the end of that line. He said, I just had to get it out of the covert and wait. It's a coyote. Very beautiful red coyote, though. Very nice catch. So I love that. I'll post that video and I'll put underneath it. My husband pulls coyotes out of coverts. What yours do? So, but he gets irritated sometimes when I go with him, because when he gets in those blunders like the beaver charge him, I laugh. I think it's funny. Now, we used to hog, you have to take it into context. We used to hog hunt together to where we'd see each other routinely have to grab on a tree, pull up, and when the hog would run under, we'd make a game of popping the hog on the head with our boot and getting a little boost to stay up in the tree while it passed underneath us. Yeah, Gypsy's like, I go to your house and there's dead things everywhere. So we would routinely laugh at each other with 400-pound hogs running at us. So he had to learn how to kind of treat me after I got half crippled. He had to really learn to look at me differently, because I've always been super capable. And but I didn't have to change the way I look at him. So when I go with him and I see a beaver jump at him, I know that they can hurt him really bad, okay? But it's just funny. It's just funny, because that beaver is like, I'm gonna get you, man, I'm gonna get you. And David's like, excuse me. I just thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. And for just 5 seconds there, it reminded me of when we'd be hog hunting and we'd be like 20 foot, away from, we'd be like, who's he going to go after, me or you? When he breaks them dogs, he's going to come after one of us. And we would always laugh at the other one. We'd go up, jump, and I'd grab the tree and pull up. And when that hog would run underneath me, we'd kick it in the head to deter it from stopping at the tree and to go on, so we could jump down and then jump back up if it made another pass. That's what you did. You don't stay up in them trees very long unless you got a big one, and then you find a climber. You don't find one you just swing around and, and we would laugh at each other. Yeah, I had to catch them. We had to routinely catch them for inoculations for USDA. Then you had to bathe them and catch them by hand and give them shots. So everything that made it through like a year on the property had to be re-inoculated per USDA standards. And so we had to go out and catch them all. You ever flipped a 200, 400-pound hog and had to pin it while somebody else gave it a shot? It ain't fun. And when you let go, you better have a tree picked. You have a real good dog besides you. So, but I grew up doing fun stuff. I'm really domesticated now due to my health, but I still get a kick going out with David. It still kind of makes me feel like me. I got a kick the other day. I got to help somebody that their kids got a pony for Christmas. We still had Stormy's little pink winter coat, winter jacket, winter blanket. And I was like, come get my winter blanket. Nothing's worn it in 3 years. So only got worn for 1 year. And I was like, come get it and put it on that pony. And they tried to pay me for it. And I was like, no. I was like, you're going to have to clean it before you put it on it, because it's been hanging in the tack room for 3 years. But I was like, you got little girls, they got a pony for Christmas. That's a pink blanket. It's perfect. Come get it. And I've had a lot of people ask me that got ponies or horses for Christmas, what do I need to watch out for? So I've had a fun couple weeks going back and giving out knowledge. I feel useful a little bit, but that little pony's a little buckskin pony, and it is so cute. It's got a mean streak in it, though. After about 30 minutes, it's like, I'm done. And it tries to buck the kids off, and I'm like, listen, they're going to have to ride through that buck, and they're going to have to teach it can't get away with that. I said, because if you keep letting it get away with it, that's what it'll do every time. I said, basically, your little girls are going to have to be meaner than it for the first 6 months. And she was like, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I was like, well, good. I said, the best thing for that pony is for them to just wool it to death. I said, tell them what ends to watch out for, I said, but they just need to wool it to death. It is just the tiniest little thing. It's so cute. But after about 30 minutes, it's like, I'm done. And it's going to have to learn, no, you're not. Not until I put you back up. You're not done. So, but I might go over and look it over for her, check its feet and stuff, make sure it ain't never been found, it ain't got no thrush or nothing like that. Check his teeth, make sure they're totally the right age, and look on his back for rain rot. Just do the check overs a lot of people don't know to do to see what kind of condition your animal's in. And then she didn't. It was really, I was like, she's like, I don't know what to feed it grain wise. I was like, listen, a little pony that fat, literally a little handful of just general livestock feed, but all the roughage it can eat. It needs all the roughage it can eat, but just literally that a day will keep it fatter than mud. I said, I always tell people if I was a horse, I'd be a Morgan or a Shetland pony. And they stay fat on nothing, but you got to keep the roughage in their system or they can't process anything and they'll just colic and die on you. So I've been helping her a little bit, but that is such a beautiful little pony. That would be like my dream pony as a child. I had one named Chocolate and one named Billy Bob, and I think it was Billy Bob I hooked the sulky to because I was wanting to see if he would cart train. I didn't ask Dad before hooking the sulky to him. It took us 3 laps around the property before we caught him. It's like a cat with a tin can on its tail. He was not stopping. And Dad was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "I hooked him to the silky." And that horse is just little pony just running, that silky just bouncing behind him. And Dad was like, "Elizabeth Ann," and I was like, "You shouldn't teach me all these things." So he took us 3 laps around the property to get him caught. We got him caught though. He worked up good lather, but it was good for him. He worked through his fear of the thing bouncing behind him, and he did cart train. He was a mean little stinker that I had to work through. All ponies are genetically just mean. They got a mean little streak in them. I had one that would try to rub me off at trees. And that's when Dad got me my first little pair of bumper spurs, and I'd bump it off the tree and he'd be like, "What have you got on your feet?" And I was like, "Anti-tree protection, bud." And that was my first little pair of spurs. I don't even think I was in kindergarten. I don't even think I was in kindergarten. I got my first little pair of bumper spurs. I was very proud of them. But I just thought that was sweet. She would go up against trees and just rub, and I'd be like, "Succotash," and I'd pop her, and she'd pop off that tree like, "What the crap was that?" And I was like, "I'm not going to be mean to you until you try to hurt me, and then we're going to have a spat." So I remember saddling up my pony. In 3rd grade, I'd walk 3 houses up the subdivision to the guy that had the barn where I boarded it until Dad built my barn. And I'd saddle it, I'd clean it, saddle it, ride it back home, and keep it home all day. And then I'd ride it back up, cool it down, take it off, clean it up, put it back in its stall, feed it, and I'd walk back home. I was 2nd or 3rd grade. I would take off riding. Mom never knew where I was. And then when I was a teenager, I'd have multiple horses I would ride down. And I'd go off for 4 or 5 mile rides, and nobody knew where I was. I was back on property where oil wells are and where we coon hunted. Nobody knew where I was. And they never worried about me. But I was confident in what I was doing, so they never really needed to worry about me. But you know, you got horses to ride, and you want to trail train them. You gotta cover ground. We had an artesian well, and I would ride all of them to the artesian well, refill my bottle, and then get back on them and ride back. And that was a good probably 2-mile loop, 2.5-mile loop. That was a pretty good loop for them. And I liked going to the artesian well because we had to pass cars, and they got used to everything. So they'd see nothing but open fields, and we go through some woods, and they have to pass cars, and they have to cross over pavement, and they got used to everything. So I enjoyed that. I missed that part of life. I was really good at what I did. But I'm also really good with hateful people. But I don't know how I ended up being a farm rat going into psychology. But it served me well. But I'm here to tell you, though, society is screwing up. And it's because kids are not raised in that manner to be self-sufficient, but to also pay attention and have respect for family and respect for elders and respect for each other. They don't problem solve anymore. They just emotionally react. We've got huge deficits in our nation and in our society. We've got to work on that, y'all. We've got to work on it. It's only going to get worse because our government's only getting colder. Our government's only getting colder, more indifferent, more hostile toward its own citizens. And if we do not care enough about each other to maintain some kind of civility between ourselves, instead of seeing each other as something to suck off of, I don't care to help people, but when you start coming up with irrational expectations, we're going to have words. That we have to start looking at each other as we look at ourselves and say, well, if I wouldn't do that to one of mine, I'm not going to do it to another. And really kind of hold each other accountable. And when you hit a boundary, put a barrier up, put a line in the sand and say, I'm not okay with that. And start to have a dialogue again and learn to debate with words instead of emotions, and to stop trying to be a goddamn victim, and to start saying, the only place that I can fully, take care of myself is in my home and on my property. Everywhere else, I have to behave as part of a society. And I have to understand that my rights overlap with other people's rights in that instance. And I have to not always think that I'm the big kahuna. I have to sometimes say I have to blend in and be just as important as everybody else and not think I am the most important thing. And we've got a lot of people that walk around and they think, like I said, there's a big cock on the walk and that no one else matters. And a lot of it comes down to the foundation. What people mostly serve these days is their ego. And ego is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a very toxic thing if used in the wrong way, but it can also be a very good thing to keep you self-motivated and self-sufficient and self-aware if you use it correctly. But a lot of people use it in a toxic manner, and they use it almost as an authority complex. Like they use it as what they're accountable to instead of like a spiritual accountability. And so they're serving themselves. And so therefore they are their own idol, and therefore they have the power to do whatever they want to do. And it's always right because they are the supreme being. That's what I'm seeing in society. And that is what is so toxic. There's no accountability. There's no higher spiritual structure. There's no accountability to a higher spiritual being. There's I am it, and what I feel or what I see or what I believe goes, and I'm not accountable to anyone else. So start watching the news, start looking at the things happening, start talking with your community about the things happening, start being aware of statistics and stats on assaults and homicides and stuff like that. Look at the age ranges that are starting to be more prominent within. Pay attention to domestic assaults. Pay attention to the laws in your area and the laws that are going to be changing, especially from January through March. A lot of places are implementing new laws, and just keep your eyes open and your butt down. That's all I can say, because there's a lot of crap going on that I suspect we've been painted as a point system, and someone way bigger than us is playing darts. And sadly, I think it's those that are probably supposed to be protecting us. Vivek Ramaswamy said a bunch of very insightful things. I don't necessarily care for his demeanor sometimes, but he has said a bunch of very insightful things about the political parties and how we're being played. And I would, if I were you, I'd probably look up some of his last interviews and some of his statements that he said in passing and some of the names he's dropping, and start doing some searches, because our government and our choices are being manipulated to a point where we are not a free people in a constitutional republic with a voice. We're a herd of cattle being put in the backfield while they slaughter all but the ones they want to reproduce. And that's sad, but like I said, give Temple Grandin 5 minutes to look at the problem and she'll fix it. She'll say what needs to be done in very minimal words and tell you exactly what's wrong. I would love to hear Temple Grandin's insight on what's going on in our society. She'd probably whip it in 5 seconds. I love her brain. If you've never read anything that Temple Grandin has written, you've got to. And you've got to look her up and how she sees things. She works mostly with livestock, but give her 5 minutes of looking at stats and the penal system, and she would tell you exactly what's going on in this world. She is so smart. She's on the spectrum, but she's learned to harness that energy for amazing things. You've got to read Temple Grandin's work. She's so insightful. And it's because she didn't close down the part of her brain that is, we're enigmatic. We come into this world with our own special quirks and senses. And lots of times we're taught or forced to shut them down. But autistic people don't feel those societal pressures, so they don't shut them down. And they have a much more, while it's hard for them to express it sometimes, they do have a much more realistic view of the world around them. And they don't always say it in the nicest way, but it's because, once again, they don't have the emotional attachment and feel the societal pressure to align, with any kind of propaganda or any kind of ideology. So they just state the truth that's obvious. I would love to have like 10 minutes talk with Temple Grandin about society today and what the crap's going on, because I'm sure it would like fire me up to really start putting out some more of the more critical videos that I put out. And it's just basically it comes down to caring about each other, but having healthy boundaries and holding ourselves accountable before we hold anyone else accountable. That's basically, if I've been yapping for an hour and something about that, that's it. So, but listen, I've got like 4 or 5 more Temu bags coming in. I like to hide some big thoughts in Temu hauls because they stop listening after a while. Because it's just a Temu haul. And I'm just trying to have real conversations about real issues that, you might want to look up. But a lot going on in this whole world, and a lot that we don't know about that we should know about, and a lot that's in, books that tell us exactly what they're doing, but we're just too lazy to read them. And I mean, as a society, we're lazy. We're fat, satiated, and lazy. But that's going to change. It's changing now. So, okay, I'm going to have to make David some dinner, and then I'm going to lay back down. I do feel better today. I'm not as woozy, and I put out a little bit of color so I didn't look so deathly ill, but I am bouncing back quicker this time, but my right ear I can't hear nothing. Left ear is doing much better. I got probably another couple pounds of fluid from this weather system that I have to shed. But, well, thank you for sticking through it, Ray Clay. I know sometimes it's, I can talk the hind leg off a mule, but sometimes words need to be spoken, and I have to find a way to say it that I won't get in trouble. So that's why I start with a Temu haul. Leva Cats, thanks so much. Oh, and after this snap, I think my tubers that you wanted are going to go dormant, so I think I might be able to mail you some. Them little suckers have hung on through, 19-degree nights, and I'm like, would you just go dormant? Would you just go dormant? Because they'll probably do better if I send them to you dormant and you go ahead and plant them. So as soon as it dries out a little bit, it smells so soupy soggy, I'll pull some out, try to get some of the healthier looking ones, and send them to you. I haven't forgot about you. I've just been like, they do better if they were dormant, and they've decided they want to live through the whole winter. But we'll get them. I'll get them caught. I've still got my sunflower seeds put up safely, drying out. I'm hoping that they turn out okay. I've got a bunch of seeds pulled up, and I need to do a seed split with some people. In some states that's illegal, but it's mostly on like veggies and stuff like that. Isn't it sad that a seed split or sharing seeds is illegal? Of course, I'm only sharing flower seeds, but in some states they make it illegal, but it's illegal for like the produce and vegetables and stuff. They're like, no. Why would they make that illegal? Think. Ask questions. Who owns the seeds and who has augmented the seeds and made them GMO where you can only get one harvest, and the seeds you get off that harvest will grow a plant but will not produce a harvest? What is that lady? Shiva, or I don't know. Russell Brand loves her, talks about her a lot. She's from India, and she's talking about Monsanto and the seed issue. Very smart woman. Some other Vinda Shiva or something. I can't. She's a beautiful little old woman that's full of knowledge and needs to be listened to, and talks about the crisis in India from the seed issue, and the struggles they're having in the farming because of that, and the communities feeding each other. Super, and she's like got it pegged. And the man that was responsible, his last name rhymes with Fates. I don't think he's allowed back in India. I think they actually have a warrant for him. He's also like sterilized half of Africa. Read, people. Don't take that as truth. Go and research. Read. Look stuff up. Question everything. But I've seen a lot of stuff on the news. Oh, and the New Madrid fault had its biggest 3.8 earthquake in years just a few days ago, about a week ago. And the day that the earthquake occurred, at roughly the time the earthquake occurred, I was sick. I got up violently sick. And I don't know if it's where all this fluid was coming on from the weather system and all of that happening, or if it was just, I was just that sensitive to what was happening. But I was violently sick. Then felt fine for a couple of days and then started going downhill again, and it was this double ear infection. So Just thought that was weird. Just thought that was really weird. Because I was like, why do I feel so bad? Why did I wake up vomiting? Like I woke up violently ill. And then I looked and I was like, oh, there was just a massive earthquake on the New Madrid Fault, the biggest one in decades. And so everybody's up in arms about that. And I'm like, listen, you can't worry about it. It's going to happen when it happens. Just live your life. And when you feel the ground begin to shake, and, make sure you have set your plans up with the good Lord. I mean, what can you can't stop the ground from shaking. Why worry about it? Just be prepared to not be on this earth. That's the safest thing I can tell you, but just be prepared to not be on this earth. And, but people don't understand that. I'm telling you, mine's hanging on for, I don't know what they're hanging on for, but they do not want to go dormant. And I'm like, would y'all chill out? Because they'll be, it'll be a lot easier to transplant them when they're dormant because they won't be as apt to throw a fit and, up and die out of just, dramatic flare. So I was like, why? And then they're in a cold spot, I put them there because, they grow really well and they're hard to kill. And I'm like, you guys need to stop. So I've still got stalks knee high or more, reaching for the sun. And I'm like, really? But this last cold snap has pretty much put about 70% of them down. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're fixing to go dormant, because then I'll cut them all off and I'll look, and the healthy ones and the best roots, I'll pull some up and send to you. So, but you better want them where you put them because they're hard to kill. Warning. It's like trumpet vines and morning glories. You better want them where you put them because they're hard to kill. So, okay, I'm going to shut up now and cook dinner, but it's been nice gabbing with you. I think I just needed to get this out of my system. I feel better now. I actually feel better than when I was laying down. Maybe I just needed to get up and talk and make all the fluid leave my head. But I am perking up quicker, and I didn't feel as like when she told me I had a double ear infection, I was like, well, I'm that bad, because I didn't feel that bad. And I thought, okay, my body is getting stronger, but I'm still having issues with when I flare, my immune system goes to crap. So just keep me in your thoughts, and it's just become aware human beings. Yeah, laws are man-made. And I, at the end of the day, I try to blend into the man-made world, but if the law contradicts what the good Lord told me to do, I'm going to go on the good Lord's side. Sorry. He's the big kahuna as far as I'm concerned. So I'm feeling much better. I've lost like 3 or 4 pounds of fluid. I know I've lost more since yesterday. It was 3 pounds lost yesterday. So I know the fluid's draining off. My kidneys are not hurting as bad today, so I know I've got most of the fluid off. I've just got a little bit more like through here. This is where I swell, through here. Y'all know where I swell, through here. And my right arm is swollen. And I feel better, but handled this weather and the sickness much better than I thought I would. So I didn't think I had a double ear infection. I just thought I was woozy and had fluid on me. It was because I had a double ear infection. But so I am getting healthier and my body can handle more, but I still have immune system issues. And when I crash and burn, I still crash and burn, although I don't crash and burn multiple times in a row, it seems now. So we're getting there, So getting that 50 plus pounds off has been amazing. And I'm still going, trying to get as healthy as possible before Haley has those twins. That's my goal. Okay, probably be back tomorrow with more temu because I've got like 4 or 5 more orders. 2 are out for delivery right now. My mailman runs super late right now. And so we'll probably do another temu haul tomorrow. I'm hoping to get those out of the way in the next couple of weeks. And then I'm cooling out of temu because they're changing a lot of things. Like you have to do a $20 minimum order now. They're changing a lot of stuff. And I'm just going to sit back and watch them for a minute because I'm wondering, do y'all have good motives behind this? And I'm just going to watch them for a little while. I'm going to play my little fish games and I'm going to finish them up without doing any orders because I'm that close. And I'm just going to watch for a while because I'm wondering if they're just, because they bloated their prices for Christmas. I got massive rebates after Christmas, price adjustments. And so I went ahead and did some clearance shopping with my price adjustments. But then I noticed they changed the minimum order to 20. They've changed a lot of the games to where it's lower prizes and it's a fewer number of prizes. They make them harder to win now. And so I'm pulling back and going, I'm going to watch you for a minute. Now, if they give me money for a campaign, I'll do a campaign and we'll still check out stuff and see the longevity of most of the products. I'm here to say that I will probably always buy their craft stuff and some of like their little cheap home stuff like the shelvings and stuff. And the shelves on my refrigerator are probably some of the nicest magnetic shelves I've ever bought in my life. So, and their jewelry. I probably always will do that and some of the cheap clothes. But when it comes to like doing as many orders as I've done, and I had to buy a wardrobe because I've lost everything falls off me now. Probably done with that right now until I see what their motivation is and how they're going to augment their corporation, unless I'm getting campaigns. If I get campaigns, then I'll do my campaign videos and try to do enough videos to get another campaign each month. But a lot of my bulk purchasing is over because I've got to travel and stay for 3 weeks or more with Haley after the baby. So I'm just going to make sure that I have my little nest egg plump and ready to roll. So it's going to be scary for me to be out of state for 3 weeks, but my doctor really thinks I could probably do it. And she says that it will technically cut my winter 1 month short because I'll be almost in Florida. And she's like, I think that will be good for you. And I'm like, but if I get sick, I've got to make 6.5 hour or 7 hour trip home for my doctors, for my specialists. That's the scary part. So we're just going to have to play it by ear and see how I do. But I'm a mama and I want to be there when my child is giving birth, and because it's scary first time in twins. That's scary. I want to be there for her. I know that she's got her husband who is wonderful and her extended family who are great, but I'm a mama and I want to be there. Just if nothing else, just to calm her down, because I know that's going to be a scary day for her. And she works and with animals and livestock and has seen birth, and she knows what she's fixing to go through. But I still think every girl needs their mama, And I was in labor for almost 34 hours with Lane. And the moment that they said my mom and dad had arrived, I immediately calmed down because I knew my mom was there. And I was doing pretty good. I wasn't having any issues, but I felt better when my mom was there. So I think, that's pushing me to be present and to stay with her as long as I possibly can as she heals, and to be useful for a few weeks if I can get my body to a place where I can be. And I'm trying really hard because I don't want to let her down, and I don't want to miss that day, and I don't want to miss being there for my grandbabies when they come into this world, and just to be there in case something goes awry. That's just, I need to be there. And so keep praying that my health keeps doing better. So, but I'm perking up. One Rocephin shot, and the next day I'm feeling this much better. So I'm doing much better than I used to do. And I think that I'm definitely seeing the benefits of losing the weight, but I still know that my neuromuscular is not going to be completely kiboshed by losing weight. And I still have really big issues I have to pay attention to. But, day at a time. A day at a time. What I really want is a nice soak in the tub and to wash my hair because it is horribly nasty. But, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Maybe I'll look like a living human being tomorrow. Ray Clay, I appreciate you joining in. You're part of the family now. Guys, take care of yourself. Go into the new year with a happy heart and a good spirit about you. And let's try to get the good energy rolling. And go on the Odyssey platform and check out the Synergy channel, PSINERGY. And if you can stream a watch night service from a church or spend time with your Bible on New Year's Eve, probably be a good thing to do. Be a good idea to commune with a good Lord above, because next year is going to be a doozy. If it was a horse, it'd probably be one I'd send to the glue factory. It's going to be a doozy next year. So y'all brace yourselves. We're headed for some rough times, but don't worry. We can get through it together. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Night, guys. Love yous. Now, Oscar thinks he has to go outside. He knows when I end my streams. It's crazy. Can you go, Papa? You do? Went out the door?